Shit, hang on, it's recording.
Hang on, it's on video. It's on video. Wrong video.
So it was a pretty surreal experience. But what I did, you know, I was one of those guys that stood up and was taking a few rounds. Just who I am, not afraid to stand up and speak out. You know, I'm an educator, I'm a history teacher. You know, I know what our forefathers have done. I know what my great uncle, why his name's on the cenotaph in Chicago. So you got two before the third one got him. Yeah, so it's the least that I can do to, you know, stand up and speak out and be here and talk to you, listen to you, and you listen to us, and hopefully draw a bit of courage from, you know, a nutty farmer from down south, this guy who speaks all these funny languages, and then this crazy history teacher who thinks he can teach you a thing or two. But it's quite humbling, you know. We're probably doing a little bit more of what our, you know, politicians should be doing out here, listening to not one faction or not one group, but, you know, old, young, you know, a lot of you people have got more wisdom than us three. But it's about standing up as a man, being tall, being proud of who you are, being comfortable with the, you know, the shoes you're wearing. Yeah. Well, gumboots, you know, they're outside.
I'm trying to keep the fence up. So I've been, involved with VFF. There's a few people here that know me in my face and stuff because I was speaking out with VFF. I've attended over, 40-something protests, spoken at probably half of them. There's a whole mixture and bits and pieces what I'm doing. So Farmer James didn't tell you how I ended up here, but you know, Liz Gunn, I had a sister-in-law that said, oh look, hey, Joe's probably an interesting young man you should talk to, he's done a couple of things. And then lucky enough, you know, I thought I better flick Liz an email. So last Tuesday, jumped on a podcast with Liz Gunn, Farmer James and John O'Frew. And that was a bit of a fun. Must have done a good job because I invited back for yesterday. So, you know, who was it? So it was at home, at my place. So he turns up just before 9. Actually, I left home at about just before 7 to go and help the boys load up. I've been working as a scaffolder, because you know during the term time I've been back teaching since the 4th of May. Back in the classroom now, not at my school because got terminated, and you know that was the end of it. I knew I burnt all my bridges there. You know, I challenged a lot of people, and there was no way I could grow and develop as a man, and I didn't have support. Out of 138 staff or whatever, since the 15th of November last year, one staff member had reached out to me for a coffee at this place. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's my life. So in order to keep my house and things like that, you know, I went and started scaffolding on the 17th of January, and that's what I did to you know, make sure I'd pay my mortgage and keep it going. So yesterday he turns up home, Louis and Farmer James, and we have another podcast, and then right, we're coming down, so we just down the road is where we had our local meeting in Rangiora at the local
What's the chances that you'll be exactly a week later? We always do at 9:30 on a Tuesday morning. I said actually next week that's part of my tour. I'm actually going to be in your hometown. And at 9:30 we'll just have we'll do it live. We'll just go to me and Louis were in one room, and Liz and John didn't actually know. Yeah. You're in the who would you?
I was in my son's bedroom at his desk. Yeah. So it was a bit of fun. So we headed down to Rangiora, and we had a good wee turnout there. And then we cruised up for I think 3 o'clock at Amberley, just north of Christchurch, for those who know Amberley. And yeah, here I am. Got an invitation to join the team, so it's now, you know, John O'Frew, you know, Joe, Teacher Joe it is now, because we've set me up on a Facebook and what have you, and
jump on Teacher Joe.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage next week, but you know, the world works in wonderful ways, and there's some good people out there. So, like quite recently, you know, I'm part of several groups and just, you know, especially locally. So, some of the remedy, what can we do to you know, to help out each other, and how can we change, you know, this path, this trajectory we're on? Because, you know, if you're like me, like Farmer
you know, James here and Louis, you know, I don't want this. You know, I'm a father of 5. I've got a beautiful 19-year-old daughter, 17-year-old son, another beautiful 15-year-old daughter. I've got a young man who's, you know, a lot like me, and he's quite courageous, 13-year-old, and then, you know, an 11-year-old who just loves, you know, he's just been a little kid, you know, he's discovered baking and stuff now. You know, so I want to have a future for them. So what's it going to take? It's going to take me, and it's going to take all of you. You know, every single one of us, doesn't matter what, we've got our talents. We've got energy. You're not here for no reason. Okay, and I take my hat off to all of you, because you're here and you've held out, or you're willing to come and listen to, you know, to us. And that's, you know, that's empowering just for us, knowing we've got a, you know, there's not 2 of you sitting here.
I don't know, to be honest, I reckon that might be a wee bit crazy. Who the heck would come to listen to some random guy called Tom Jackson?
We'll take that out of there. All of a sudden they know that a teacher, you know, listening to a teacher, and yeah, they're going to get some education. So, yeah. So, you know, that's one thing, I never stop educating myself. You know, I'm learning as much from this young fella, and, you know, we're swapping and you know, sharing some language and stuff like that, because that's a bit of a passion. My wife's from Taiwan, she's Taiwanese, so yeah, we've been in Chinese as well. But, you know, I've been challenging our local government. You know, I've been right up there in hassling Dan Gordon, the local mayor. Our CEO's just stepped down, and there's a guy, Jeff, who's just stepped in. Okay, I've spoken of deputised already. Okay, and I've challenged them over 3 waters and over local government New Zealand. And, you know, I've asked for documentation from them. I've asked for them for their standing orders. Okay, I've walked in there and asked them for the processes. Okay, I'm supporting the local group who are also standing up and are going to try and get, you know, voted into local government elections. Okay, so that's just one thing we can do. Okay, what are some of the other things we can do? You know, everybody here has an ability. Everybody here has a voice. So it's whether you just tune up to a meeting and take a seat. How do you do that? Well, you go on to the website, you see where the local ward meetings are meeting. You go and talk to your local councillors.
All you really need is 1 ear to do that. You only need one person to chuck it on a message chat and you'll know about it. You don't need all of you to get on and have to sit there and listen to this boring crap. Just need 1 ear to know it's there, and then all turn up and support them. Because some of the stuff that's getting thrown through wouldn't get thrown through if we all showed up and told them we didn't want to borrow it. But they just get to push it all through. There's no public consultation, or figured out consultation is another word for telling us what they're going to do. Is that true? Yeah.
I call it public insultation. Public insultation.
Insultation. Yeah. Well, that's what it, you know, I went in there and they told me, you know, you're not allowed to ask questions. So I'm allowed to deputise, but I'm not allowed to, you know, ask questions. So I just spent, you know, I had about, you know, that 10 minutes, you said you're allowed to speak. So I went for about 11 minutes and I just called them out. Called them out and everything. I went, who do you serve? Who do you serve? Do you serve the people? Or do you serve the masters there in central government? Okay, who controls them? You want to take our 3 waters? Then what are you going to take? Okay? Because I'm not going to stand for it. You're not taking that away from me. And if you try, you ain't going to hear the end of me. So it was quite, you know, it was quite good because I only had 10 minutes to speak. Because then they started getting on to all the rest of the agenda items. What came on next? Any guesses? Nah. Climate change.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just rubbing my hands together, and there was about 38 of us that turned up. Our local reporter was there at the end of the meeting, thanked me for coming in because they'd never had such an exciting meeting before. Yeah. You know? And I'm just, you know, regular Joe.
Or Teacher Joe.
Oh, Teacher Joe now. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not afraid to stand up and speak out. And some of you, that may not be your, you know, may not be your skill. You know, I'm a researcher as well, and, you know, heard John O and Jill speak, and it was their counter-spin meeting, and I'm just busy taking notes. And I don't have time to do it all. So if you're a bit of a researcher and you've got some really good information, that challenges the narrative. Well, share it to the person who's willing to stand up and speak out. And that's what, and as soon as I said to my groups down there, I'm going to challenge challenge next on climate change, bang, I'm just getting hammered with all this incredible information. I ain't got time to do all of that. If we go into lockdown again, I might. But actually, I'm not going to be in lockdown if we go into lockdown again. Exactly. Yeah. Hey!
Here's a good question. Who in this room believes in monkeypox? Seriously, for goodness sakes, guys, like, if we can fall for that, I give up. I'm going to go home.
I think the K is silent. It's monkeypox.
Yeah. Do you know the new variant that's spreading at the moment? Courage. The new variant, honestly, spread some courage around, guys. Go spread it out there. Don't lock down, just get it out there. It's more transmissible than Omicron. I could give an example of a council meeting. Well, it wasn't supposed to be a council meeting, but it kind of was. So Jill Booth, that crazy lady I told you about earlier, which isn't actually that crazy anymore. Yeah, that's the best explanation. She actually came all the way up to Christchurch on, was that Monday night? Yeah. With us, talking to you guys, because she's that passionate about making some change and talking to guys that are interested in local council and telling them she's done a lot of research and where all this is coming from. One of those people that sort of discovered all these links, because how else would you know all this stuff? Because half the councillors, well, most of the councillors don't know how it all happens either. They just get told what to do they? Is that how it works?
When did that last bill get passed? At 4 something AM in the morning?
Yeah, hours. So anyway, got invited to this council meeting and I said, I've got work to do at 6 o'clock at night. I didn't. Rugby practice, got anything other to do than go to this council meeting because I could not be bothered. Anyway, she said it'll be fun. And I was like, right, that's a good yarn. So then she sent me this, just pre-Bopari, she sent me this video of how to disrupt this Delphi meeting, Delphi Technic meeting. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically they're not interested in any of this. They go split you out on a table over there, one over here, one there, just keep you apart so you feel segregated, you feel weak, you feel powerless. When you're like this, you feel quite powerful. You could come and bloody give me a hot if you wanted to, or you can, you're right here and you feel you've got the power, you've got the energy of each other. If you just go split you out, you feel much less powerful, you don't feel like a collective power. So, I found out about this meeting, about this top meeting, and I watched how you disrupt them. I thought, okay, this could be quite fun. So I turned up, and I mentioned it on Facebook by accident. Not by accident. Mentioned on Facebook. And then we had 2 tables with 6 sheets around each table. One was for the, I don't know who they were, but the Warokis, iwi and all sorts of representatives, which no one gets to vote for. They're basically just council and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And they had one other table for 6 people that could turn up. We turned up 70. Yeah. And they were like, oh. No mask, no nothing, walk straight through, yep, sweet as. And they had to roll out all these tables and they weren't real happy about it. And they actually feed themselves quite well, I guess. They had quite a good wee feed for 6 or 12 people, whenever they thought was coming. So anyway, we get there and then this lady goes, I'll try and do an example. We here at Transition Murihiku are here to consult the public, you guys, on what we're going to do for the next 10 years in Southland and our transition away from Tiwai. Here is a 2-hour video of what we're going to do. I was sitting there going, how the hell did you get the video before you talked to us? Well, I'm thinking, how do they get a 2-hour video of what they're going to do in Southland without actually consulting? Because this is the consultation. They're public telling, they're not consultating. Anyway, thank God, literally, the thing stopped working. the first screen come up and it just froze there, wouldn't work. Anyway, I was looking at the 8 topics or 10, whatever it was for Southland, was forestry, tourism, aquaculture. I don't even know half the words they were, but I definitely know there was no farming or agriculture on there. And that was a wee bit weird. I was like, that's shocking. That's slightly concerning, but anyway. So, I was sitting there going, oh yeah. So she said, oh, well, because this thing won't work, maybe we should actually ask you guys what you think. And I was like, yeah, that'd be good. So I said, first of all, I put my hand up. And I said, I know what we should do to make better communities. And she said, what do you got, Sarah? We should plant the whole of Southland in pine trees. And she just sat there going, uh-oh. And then everyone started bursting out laughing and yelling and stuff. And then she's just like, we're in the shit. Anyway, a few minutes later, Jill said, I thought when I watched this video, it said, no, you're not allowed to be violent. Anyway, Jill, literally, there's a table full of coffees. And Jill flips the table, smashes all the coffee cups on the ground, and the guy, nah, she didn't. She pushed the table, the leg collapsed, and it smashed. She went and yeah, because she tried to make 3 into 1, so you're supposed to gather the groups up if you can. Yeah, and I was like, so we're sitting beside each other, and they're like, here's the guy asking about pine trees, and the lady smashing tables, and she's like, they knew their own shit, so they rung up the mayor. You better get down here quick, because these guys are getting out of hand. Anyway, gets way worse. So we're allowed 2 minutes. They said we're allowed to talk about what we think we could do in the community over the next 10 years, and we're allowed 2 minutes to present it. So I volunteered to do this one because Jill wasn't allowed to after smashing the table. And I said, right, and I smashed out as quick as I could everything we had on the table, and I literally had almost a minute to speak about agriculture because I wanted to smash them on. And I said, man, I noticed you missed agriculture in your wee slide you showed us. What is Southland without agriculture? And I started talking about agriculture basically. And then this lady who was running it, who's not from council but was a councillor, so the weirdly comes in, you can't do it like this, like literally just interrupted me. And I said, does that not fit your agenda, does it? And everyone pissed herself laughing, and she looked like an effing fool, like honestly. It just crumbled, because you can't touch the facade, because it psh. And you couldn't mention agriculture in Southland. Has anyone been to Southland? It's agriculture. What are you talking about? What do we think? The sea level's going to rise 150 metres? Like what?
It's about what they're doing overseas.
Yeah.
And it's about what's about to come here.
Yeah.
So they're just letting you know.
So look out for the words just transition. It's a just transition. It's not very just. And it's a pretty interesting transition. Yeah, so on my way out of this meeting, or just before my way out, on one of this guy's 2 minutes, this farmer bloke who had a bit more balls than me probably at the time, decided to mention the whole gender thing in schools. And it didn't go too well with the 6 of them at this council that were pretty woke. And they were yelling out, you racist, you're not very inclusive, and just yelling, and I was like, oh, okay, that's getting interesting. And I thought that's quite interesting, just because of speaking about the, well, I don't even know what that thing is, but about gender in schools, this lady was yelling out about inclusivity. I thought, oh yeah, I know what to do. So I had to go to rugby practice. I didn't even last half the meeting, which caused an absolute ruckus. And then I said, right, see you later, I've got to go to rugby practice. And as I was walking out, I walked up to this table with these wokies, and I said, hey, do you guys believe in inclusivity? And they're like, yes, we do. I said, oh, you wouldn't have supported the mandates then, would you? And they just sit there, and they just went silent, and then it's pretty much, their facade and their bullfire. They had nothing, because they realised how weak their whole argument was. You want to be more inclusive, but you're going to segregate people on a personal medical choice. Interesting thoughts. So anyway, that's just an example of how you can actually make an influence. So another example is, a few months ago, I'm going to sit down because I've actually got a sore calf. That's how I ended up here. A few months ago, I got invited around to this meeting. It was Logan Evans rings me, and he said, we're going to have a meeting. It's me, you, Jill, Jez Preet, and Rob Wilson. If you don't know Rob Wilson, he's that guy, the Antifa guy, whatever it was. No, kidding. He's not actually. He's not. That's Rob. He's a good guy. And so we got talking about how the heck do we wake everyone else up like we are right now? How on earth do we wake some people up? Because these farmers up here, or down home, are thinking National's going to come in and save the day. Yeah. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Don't they know about the bird?
We didn't have a chance yet. We haven't got Lingo Louie down there long enough yet. Anyway, so we had this meeting, got together, and we sort of talked about what we'll do, and we thought 3 waters was a pretty good topic the farmers might be able to answer to. So we came up with this plan of getting Peter Williams down, one of them come up with a plan. Peter Williams, he can speak on it. That's our taxpayers union got involved. Then Logan goes, oh, we need Chris Amero. He's one of the men from the men's group. I said, Chris is a builder. I don't think he even cares about three-wheelers. He's like, oh, but he's really inspirational. I was like, oh yeah, true, yeah, right, sweet. So anyway, he ended up getting the role. He spoke about the initiative to help the councils. I can't even remember what the name is for it, but there's a training program going around teaching people to be part of how to go into local council. Refreshing local democracy in NZ. So he did that speech. There's a video of it on Farmer James. And then, yeah, Logan. So basically we said to Logan, like, honestly mate, you have to get Groundswell to run this. If Groundswell don't take this, no one's going to listen to any more Groundswell NZ. It ain't going to be happening because everyone's had enough. No, they haven't done anything. They didn't go turn up when we needed them. They didn't. Yeah, they're worthless. So, and not that too many people get too encouraged when they hear, right, Groundswell NZ. Pretty depressing, like it's almost, like seriously mate. Anyway, the Groundswell said, yeah, Logan, you can do it under the Groundswell banner, but you have to do everything to do it and organise it all and do this. So that's real feeling Logan anyway. So Logan did that, he got a bit of a committee together and sort of sorted that out, he had to run it, and he did a bloody good job. We got 2,000 people to turn up to 6 meetings. 2,000 people. Peter Williams came down, delivered a brilliant speech and talked about all this co-governance crap and basically he let rip. If you haven't seen that, thoroughly recommend watching that. What else happened? By the end of it, they got an opportunity and Logan made these sticks and he called them democracy sticks. And it was basically a bit of paper that had bang on one side and then bullshit on the other side in red. This is a democracy card he called them or something. So you can, when anyone's up there, you can go bang on, or you can go bullshit. So whenever the mayor's got up, it was bullshit. And then he went, it was getting stuck in. Because they go, have you heard about the story about the tent? You gotta be in the tent, you're better off in the tent. If you try that one on, honestly. They all said it, all the councillors got up. We've got to stay in the tent. We're better off in the tent. What's a frickin' tent? What's the point of being in a tent with a lion? Or a mahuta? Whatever that is. So anyway, we'll go along. Do you know, well you guys do know the Nai Mahuta, head of local government, which is kind of pretty much runs our NZ basically, doesn't she? No, you're not allowed to talk here. You what you say. Head of Three Waters, people gasp when they hear that. Then they talk about the hush money. Quite a lot of money that's got our money gets paid to not let people do work for us, which is pretty odd, and then steal our assets. Odd. What else happened? I can't remember. So they filled out these petitions, we took them back to council, and we got 2,000 people to stand up. By the end of it, honestly, I was still thinking these people thought National was going to be saviour. At the end, they were booing National off the stage. Like, honestly, bullshit! Like, hundreds of people, and I was like, yes! Finally, I've got some hope. We've gone from thinking National's going to saviour to realising they're not. Don't know what it is yet, but at least we've got one more step further. And I get people telling me, James, you're dumb. You think that you're going to stop Three Waters. I'm really dumb, by the way. We knew we weren't going to stop Three Waters. There was a very little chance we were going to stop Three Waters, but we woke up 2,000 Southern farmers to realise it's a load of shit. And I tell you what, if there's this one group of people you don't really want to wind up, it's a whole bunch of these guys, because they get pretty stuck in once they get wound up. So they're starting to get pretty stirred up at the moment. Finally. So anyway, Brian Cadogan. If you've ever seen a shell of a man, he's one.
The next one.
Clinton people.
Thank goodness. We got a shell of a man as our local Clifford District Council mayor. And him and his brother's the Central Otago mayor. All amongst us, they love this LGNZ. They want to get in the tent and they want to ride this line or whatever they're going to do, or kiss Mahuta or something. And So they brought down all the new leaders of these water entities, well the ones they had anyway, to this meeting in Clutha. So we decided to turn up some tractors. 20 odd tractors showed up and a couple hundred people. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that. And they had this meeting and we got these people up front and they get up and they're pretty good. The problem with these guys is if you let them get up here and you don't heckle them, they do a pretty good job. If you get up there and just get stuck into them, they lose the plot and they don't know where they're at. And they're pretty good at being inspirational when you don't start smashing away at the bloody vase or whatever they are, just smash it. Anyway, they get up there and this guy gets up the front and he goes, he's the new head of what I call the water police. That's what I named it. Some T something, what I don't know. TY, I don't know how you say it, but I'm Māori and I have no idea what the name of it is. They're all Māori language. Who speaks Māori? I don't know. I called it. Louis knows. Thanks, Louis. So they name all these names we don't understand. I think it's for good reason. So I named them the water police, but yeah, that was my name for them. Also, say the water police. No, we're team, blah, blah, blah. Water police, yeah. We know, sweet water police. Anyway, he gets up the front, he goes, we're going to start up, we need some volunteers for this new board up top. But no one in this room would have high enough qualifications. Those of us over 200 farmers that own multi-million dollar businesses and are pretty good at what they do. And I was thinking, yep, you've really pissed them off now. So I jumped up and said, would working in a fish and chip shop be a good enough qualification? This guy did not find that funny. He's looking around and then Peter Wilson, who's from down there, jumps up, yeah, just like Jacinda, that's her qualification, isn't it? And then, far out. So we went further on and they keep telling us it's going to be cheaper. They're going to own the water, or co-governance is, or something is, or Mahutu or something. Her farm family. Going to own the water and it's going to be cheaper for you. It's going to be cheaper. Trust me, it will be cheaper. Do you believe me? I hope not. Please don't believe me. This lady gets at the front after telling us it's going to be cheaper. And I know one thing after running a farm. If I double the amount of staff I have and do heaps more work, it's definitely not going to be cheaper. So she gets at the front, this lady of the new water or something, I don't know, some other Māori name, I don't know what it is. And she gets at the front and says, we are going to have 9,000 workers and we've only got 4,000 and we're going to be way better off. So I get up again and go, out of the 9,000, how many of them are going to be people that are in the district and fix all their water and put the new drains in and get it going good and can fix stuff when it breaks down? And how many of them are going to be useless pricks like you lot? I said those things, they're maybe a bit more harsh. She said, oh, we're going to go with, they're going to be 4.5 hours, and we need a few engineers, and we need a few of that, and we need some of the people ask, oh, no, I said, whoa, can you give me the numbers? I want to know out of those 9,000, because you've clearly done the numbers, because otherwise it wouldn't be, you wouldn't know it was going to be cheaper if you hadn't done the numbers, eh? I hope you've done some numbers, like, I don't think they've done the numbers. Getting that feeling. Or, well, we're going to take the staff from the councils that they've got now. Yeah, but we're going to get the new ones from. We're going to put them in university now. I was like, aren't you starting the 3 waters now? Like, they probably, yeah, okay, that's interesting. Anyway, so I asked her again. No, I said, no, please answer the question. I said, how many of them are going to be useful? People that fix stuff and actually know how to do stuff. And how many of them are going to be useless like you guys? And make more layers of bureaucracy, make it harder for anything to get done, and literally just talk shit. And she did not like that very much at all. This is how shallow, hollow, this is literally for them. It's just like going, picking up CTM and going, psh. They don't know how to answer it because they haven't done the numbers. They have no idea. If I was going to tell my boss, I'm going to employ twice as many staff, I'm going to fix all this stuff, I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to do some numbers. How much pipe do I need, how much this? They have no freaking idea. They're just going to told you're going to save 20%. 20% on how much? They have no idea. Ask them. They honestly don't know. They are full of crap. So these are the people that are in charge of our country, so we're screwed, honestly. We should all give up, hey? We'll leave it there. So, we've gone around, honestly, we've gone around most of this island now, or half of the island anyway. South Island. And we've talked to all sorts of people. And I can tell you that the one thing I know that won't work. It won't work when we get angry, be afraid, fearful. All that does is fuel them. It will work if we be courageous, loving, caring, and happy. So, like, that's the thing we've got to know. People come up to us and ask us, how are we going to get all the groups to go together and get into one big group? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll tell you an example. I'm going to go around the country, get everyone to support me. I'm going to go and turn on them all, get a whole big guns, I'm going to take over the country, and I'm going to make it so you put a big picture of Farmer James up on the wall, and you have to go, Farmer James, Farmer James, Farmer James, every night, and if anyone sees anything bad, I'll kill it. Is that a better country? It's not. There's no point trading one for another. So realistically, the system wasn't too bad for a lot of years, but it's been corrupted because we have sat on our hands. A lot of us.
Bad for a long time.
Yeah, we've sat on our hands. Yeah, but we've sat on our hands and we've let them get into these places. How on earth did we let someone from a fish and chip shop be a Prime Minister? You know? How on earth do you let someone that says, comrade, 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 probably, oh, sorry, 7 times. I just like saying it a bit more. Come on, comrades. So yeah, no point replacing one for another. So we can't let any one person get too powerful because that's just not going to help. But one thing I know is you guys are the solution. Every person in this group, like Joe said, are the solution. So whether it be those 5, so us 5, me, Jill, Jaspreet, Logan and Rob, in that meeting, caused 2,000 farmers to realise National's a load of shit now. That's quite hard. 5 people. Those 10 guys in Southland managed to see, and probably make 300,000 people see that men standing up is a good thing, and they felt quite proud of it. So those 5, those 10, those small groups, that all you guys can do, grab a group, there's one thing that you do tonight is meet someone you don't know. Because I don't know any of it anyway. But meet someone you don't know, and get their number, find out what they're interested in, and do stuff. Because the government, what's one of the government's favourite words?
Be kind.
Yeah. So they do the opposite of anything they say, but I actually mean it. Be kind, like I actually mean to be kind. Try and actually be a nice person. Anyway, they got this thing, it's called working groups. Yeah, they always cost heaps of money and they do e-fall, but anyway. I want you guys, for guys like this guy, you guys need to be the working group. You guys need to work your ass off. You're not getting paid for it, but you may get to have a country where your kids can actually be free and not have to worship someone up on the page up here. Maybe alive even. So you get paid nothing, it's a shit job. All you get out of it, maybe down the line we might be able to be free, but I'll tell you what, the choice is either get on your knees, turn around and get shot in the back of the head, which is sitting on your hands, or get up and do something. So as the joke goes, with my piece of paper that Louis is supposed to carry around, and if he keeps forgetting, do I still have my something? I had it. Louis got it, eh?
You want it?
What is it? What does Steph ask me to tell me to write? She figured it out for us. Do something. Doesn't matter how small it is. Whether it's maybe it's giving $5 a week to Lingo Louis to carry on doing his thing, finding all these pricks. Or $5 a month, I don't know what you can afford. If you're working that bloody hard, surely to God you can afford something. Whether it's you turn up to your council meeting. Whether it's your, I don't know, get together and flip tables at these council meetings, it's quite fun. Don't do that. Whether it's you go to your men's group, start your men's group up in your area. You can all do something. I don't know what it is. Chantel had an idea. She said, do a car wash. Offer to wash their car for a 5-minute conversation. Buy someone to come coffee. Get someone that's got heaps of money. So you put a tab on at the coffee shop and they get a free coffee if they have a 5-minute conversation. Come up with some questions you can ask people to wake them up. Like, has the country improved in the last 2 years? Do not ask them, do you know all the harmful side effects of the vaccine? Not gonna help. Ain't gonna help. I know how pissed off I've been at certain times, and I know it does not help. And I just remember on that last day at Parliament, I woke up that day at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning to and this monstrosity of a helicopter over here, and I thought, yeah, I was like, shit, we are in trouble. Run down the thing, and honestly, that whole day, not once did I ever feel like being angry and attacking anyone would ever solve anything. And I still stand by that. My mates were like, why don't you just get hold of one of those cops and just beat the shit out of it? Because that's what they were feeling for on the screen. I said, I felt more powerful not doing that. Letting them punch me, letting them kick me in the shins, letting them spray me with all this crap. I felt powerful. It's more powerful to have strength and not use it than it is to have strength and use it, honestly. It's harder. That's literally masculinity.